Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer Saturday Reviews on Sunday. I apologize for doing this on Sunday instead of Saturday. So, Vader had to came home and had to insist upon doing his own review of the Star Wars Episode 2 trailer, the second trailer, Episode 7. Apparently he got locked up when he went out for the celebration. It's blamed it on me, said I didn't return his phone calls or something, but I didn't get anything from him. I didn't hear that. We'll work it out. Don't worry about that. We'll work it out. I know he's angry, but now he kind of calmed down after watching the video. Kind of made him emotional and stuff, but we'll work it out. Anyway, back to the reviews. Anyway, I watched two movies yesterday, and here's my reviews of those. And the first one was Into the Storm, okay, and the second one was Earth to Echo. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Into the Storm first. I love my disaster flicks, so that's why I wanted to see this. This came out last year. And basically, this is a story about these storm trackers, thrill seekers, guys that want to film videos for YouTube hits, and everyday townspeople in a small town that's high school graduation is going on at the same time. So you have these three separate stories going on at the same time. And the most famous people, I guess, in this movie is Richard Armitage, from the Hobbit movies. He plays like the vice principal, and he has these two sons, that are they're kind of distant. He's a widower, and the two sons are sort of distant from him. Okay, the mother, he's a widower, and then you have the storm chasers himself, and I guess the most famous person out of those is Sarah Wayne Callis, who used to be on The Walking Dead. She plays Laurie. She's Rick's wife. She plays like a scientist who's with the storm trackers, tracking down these storms. And then you have the little, the stereotypical these two guys that film these wacky stunts, I guess, for YouTube hits to try to be famous. Okay, so you basically have these three stories going on at the same time. Okay, like I said, the main story, like I said, the storm chasers are chasing these storms down, and you can tell in the beginning of it that they just missed a storm, and the guy who's ahead of it is really kind of a dick, and he's kind of mad at the female scientist who hasn't, they missed a storm, so he's kind of running out of funds, and he's kind of funding it himself. So he's basically telling her this is her last shot, okay, to find the storm. And then you also have, like I said, the small town, where you have the vice principal, played by Rich Armitage. He has his two sons that he's sort of estranged from. They have a strained relationship, ever since their mother died. And you have the one son who has kind of a crush on his stereotypical dream girl, and then you have the other son, the older son, who's kind of a jokester, and he's played by Nathan Kress, who's from iCarly. Okay, and like I said, then you have these two guys that play stereotypical hillbillies that are filming stunts, and then they want to get in on the storm and start filming to become famous. Anyway, and the kind of stories kind of mesh together after a while, because when this massive storm hits, during the graduation ceremony, all the people have to run into the high school, and then you have the storm chasers actually tracking the storm itself, and then you have these two hillbillies that they're out there trying to film it to try to get famous. And the stories kind of converge, because you have the one son who has the crush on the dream girl. He volunteers to go out with her to help her film her thesis, and they get separated. They're far away from the high school during the graduation ceremony. So the father basically has to go out with his other son to find him, and then they run into the storm trackers, and then they help him, help him with the school, because the school kind of gets torn down because these massive storms develop into other storms, okay, which ultimately develop into a big gigantic storm. And like I said, you don't have much character development in this. It's like a 90-minute movie, but I did like the special effects with the storms and stuff. I thought that was cool. I thought the disaster was cool, and the truck that the storm chasers used to track everything, I thought that was cool. They kind of filmed it sort of like a documentary, because everybody's sort of filming stuff. Especially the storm trackers, they're filming everything, and then the stereotypical hillbillies are filming stuff. Okay, and like I said, yeah, you get okay performances from the cast. Like I said, and the special effects I thought was what's really kind of saved this movie, for me at least. It made it entertaining. So I'm going to give Into the Storm a 6 out of 10. Okay, I thought it was average. Nothing spectacular. Okay, but 90 minutes, it's quick, and it's pretty decent for what it is. Okay, so I'll give that a 6 out of 10. Now the next movie that I saw was Earth to Echo. Now this is sort of trying to be give you that ET type of vibe, because you have these kids in this small town that they're basically having to move out because this construction company is they're supposed to be building like a highway or something, so all the parents have to sell their houses and stuff, and they're moving. So these three best friends, basically, they have a couple of days before they have to leave, and so they want to kind of bond together before they leave. And you have Alex, Astro, and Munch. Excuse me, not sorry. You have Alex, excuse me, Tuck, and Munch, and Tuck is the one who kind of films everything. So you get a lot of that handheld camera work and a lot of shaky cam. And I have to be totally honest, I get incredibly dizzy watching. It fucks with my equilibrium, I guess, or whatever that term is when I watch this. So I had to kind of watch it with my hand above my head because it was just giving me a headache watching it because too much shaky cam, and that's for me at least. But the story I thought was okay. Like I said, these three friends, they start getting these weird signals on their cell phones, and it kind of leads to what they think is a map, and they decide to go out, on this adventure with their bikes and stuff to track down what this is. And they go out, and of course they find this alien creature who's kind of stranded on, this is Echo, they call him Echo, who's stranded in this ship, and he basically has to find his bigger ship to get away. And of course, the construction company people are not really construction people, they're actually government people who actually are tracking the ship. And the kids have to basically try to avoid the government types and get Echo back to his ship so he can, speed away. So that's why I say it has sort of an E.T. type of vibe to it. Okay, and then you have this one girl that the guys are kind of crushing on. She kind of gets dragged into their adventure when they're searching for items that this Echo needs to kind of fix his ship, and they kind of drag her into it. And so you have these four kids out there having this adventure, trying to avoid the government types and save Echo. And it was, like I said, a decent what it is. Like I said, it's trying to be sort of a knockoff of E.T. in a way. Okay, and it was decent for what it is. The kids weren't that bad actually. And like I said, the shaky cam thing, that was my own personal thing, but it was a decent flick for what it is. I'm gonna give it a Earth to Echo a 6 out of 10. Okay, I thought it was an okay flick, nothing spectacular. Like I said, it's just trying to be like an ET knockoff to me in a way. Okay, and basically, these kids that are bonding, of course, and they have to move away from each other, so they want to spend, the last remaining days together before they have to split up, and they have this adventure. And so, like I said, it's an average flick. So again, 6 out of 10 for me. Okay, and again, Into the Storm, 6 out of 10. I love the special effects in this. It had that real bad stereotype of the hillbillies in this, which really, those guys were really annoying. I know they were supposed to be comic relief, but they're just annoying to me. And like I said, you got decent performances out of the actors and stuff. Richard Armitage and Sarah Wayne Callis. Yeah, it was pretty good for what it is. I like the storms actually, and you get a lot of insight into how they track storms and stuff, which was pretty good. And the little teenage typical story. They didn't delve too much into it. Like I said, the movie's only 90 minutes, so you can't really get into it that much. But you had these little issues that had to be resolved at the end, and like I said, it was a pretty decent watch. So again, a 6 out of 10 for Into the Storm. Okay, so that's my reviews of these flicks. Let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trepacer saying so long and take care.